Okay, I guess we're ready to go here any second. Let's do this. Hey everybody, how you doing? I hope you're doing pretty good. I know that I am. And like usual, we are going to start off with a little recap of what we did yesterday. So it took most of the afternoon, a good hour and a half, but it was kind of pretty repetitious. We started off by doing what I call my electromagnetic waves, these little circles on this beautiful purple background. And then after that, once the whole background canvas was full of these circles, we went back and did little bubbles or little planets, whatever you want to call it, out of white paint, so that today what we are going to do is put down some green paint, and the white bubbles, the white planets, the white background is going to help the green be more intense, more brilliant. So I am not going to waste any more time. I am definitely going to go ahead and get the paint ready, and we are going to attack this. It's going to take a while, so might as well start ahead, and then after that we are going to first of all put a solid background color on these bubbles, and then we will eventually put some highlights on them as well. So I am going to go over here and find the right green that I want. I think this will do the trick. Just some standard, what is it called? Brilliant green, light green. Okay, light green. And we're going to put a little water to make it even lighter. So where's my little knife? And there we go. So get that together. I'm going to add a little more because we do have quite a few of these bubbles. It'll go rather quickly. The only worry I have is how quickly will the paint dry so that we can put the highlights on. If it doesn't dry that fast, well, we'll just move to the heart maybe and do that. So where's my white paint? There you are. Oh, let's put this aside. Let's get organized here. There we go. I'm a little bit speeding today because I've had a little bit of technical problems with my Streamlabs OBS program, which enables me to stream. And the problem I've been having is that I can't hear on my monitors any of the sounds of the background music when I'm playing. I know that it's working because I did do a test recording, but still it's a little annoying because while I'm painting, I tend to forget what's going on, and to hear the music in the background, I know that it's working. So I'll have to figure that out. I don't know why. It was working fine yesterday. Got home, I did a little test, and it wasn't working anymore. And it did that way at the beginning when I started to stream. So I did figure it out once. I don't know how I did it though. It was like over 5 weeks ago. So, but anyways. So let me show you a little bit what I'm doing here. I'll bring this baby down. So I'm just mixing a little white paint with a little green to get the right amount that I want. I think that'll work much better if you can see what I'm talking about rather than, there we go. So that's very nice. It's a little too thick, so I am going to have to add some water to this so it will glide easier and not be too thick either, so it doesn't take too much of the drying time. There we go. I'll bring the camera back up to the main screen. So I did receive my second video capture box, which is pretty awesome because it makes me able to switch between both of my HD cameras without having to go through a third phase of my camera. So all I have to do is just go to my little keyboard and just go like that, and right away my camera is switched, which is rather awesome. And then of course I can have a picture-in-picture like this as well. So that is pretty cool. I can play around with all these cameras. I just have to get a little bit used to it, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Take me, I guess, maybe the rest of this week to really get fluid and getting things pretty much together. So as I said, I'm going to add a little bit of water here. I am still going to have to stare at my computer once in a while to know exactly what camera is on, because I do have to concentrate on my painting as well. I just can't think about the cameras. And as most of you know, the recordings for my movies too. So that's a third thing I got to play with. So eventually I have a tendency to forget a little bit where I'm at in these paintings. So fortunately, by turning and looking at my laptop, I can more or less find out where I am. So this paint looks just about right. There we go. I'm going to switch back to this camera here. And I am going to zoom up in this corner, which is where I'm going to start. So I'm just going to bring that up a little bit like that. And I will zoom in a little more in a few seconds. But let's get this started here. And I am putting this on rather thickly because I do want it to be opaque. I don't want the white to shine through. I don't want to put 3 coats. That's why I put the white coat in first. So I just want to put this first coat of light green paint, and then on top of that I am going to put a little darker green highlight. So, but like I said, if it doesn't dry right away, it's no big deal. I have the fan on right there. That should help. Plus the heat, that should help. And then we'll just move on to the heart to keep busy while the paint is drying. So, like usual, I have to zoom in and start recording for my movies. There we go. Do that like right there. And first I have to, okay, I see I'm zoomed in a little too much. So let me go like that, turn that a little bit, and start recording. There we go. And like that I'll get all these bubbles in one shot. There we go. Of course, when I was painting without streaming or anything, just making my movies and painting, I didn't really have to have names for all these things. Planets, bubbles. Now I have to kind of have a name for my masked dude there as well. I call him the Zen Rebel, after my gaming name. There we go. Very good. So I'll pull this back. I'll do a major zoom later on. Oops. Stop recording as well. No need to waste more than that. I'm only going to use 1 or 2 seconds of these. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put on a little music. There's no reason why we can't do that, even though I won't be able to hear it. There we go. No need to get sloppy either here. There we go. There will be plants and leaves and more stuff going over. This is just the background basically. So if I do make a little screw up, I know I'll be able to catch up later. There we go. I hesitated a little bit. Yesterday I almost decided to go with orange instead of green on these little planets. But then today I decided, nope, I'm going to go and have a good, stick with the green. It's going rather quickly. There we go. Finally starting to relax and get into the groove of this. After being a little stressed out with my new equipment and not having any sound. Of course, it would have been too easy that everything would work perfectly the first day, right? Always have to have that little Murphy's Law that kicks in. Maybe being half French is also a part of it too, always having to complain about something. Who knows? All I know is the French bitch all the time. They love bitching. And since I'm half French, well, it kind of rubs off on me, I guess. Not that I'm proud of it. This is going very nicely. When you have the right consistency of the paint, it really just glides on beautifully. There we go, very nice. I am just going to step away for 1 second and put up my sign saying that I'm on air and streaming for the other people in the building to know. There we go. I forgot to do that, but at least everybody's forewarned. They know the streaming's going on, but they're also welcome to come in and say hello and whatnot. There we go. So far so good. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice. And now there's this big guy right here. And that is going very nicely as well. There we go. That's very nice. Whoops. I don't have to do things that tightly because everything is going to have outlines to it. For some reason, I can't help myself. There we go. Very nice. And if you don't mind, I'm going to bring over my chair. Might as well be comfortable. So I'm going to go back and start on this left-hand side. Very nice. As I mentioned yesterday, now that I have all my equipment here, I'll be able to have my friend Jalil, who has a studio above me, to come down and practice his balafon and his djembe and come do live concerts here while I'm painting. That would be rather awesome for you and for me. I mean, I always loved painting in public. I used to go to festivals, techno festivals of friends of mine. And with my son's mother, who's also a painter, we used to paint for hours on end. 3-day festival. You know, we'd start like at 4 in the afternoon and end up around 3 in the morning. Do that for a couple of days in a row. Pretty exhausting stuff, I must say. But so much fun. I always liked painting in public. Yep, I'm not the kind of painter that stays in his little garret and paints in the attic. No, I like being painting in public. Love music as well. Unfortunately, for copyright reasons, I can't play really the music I enjoy the most. This classical music isn't bad. There we go. We're almost done for this first coat. Well, that's pretty cool. Just get these last few dots here. So from bubbles to planets to dots. Now a tad of water maybe, there we go. This heat, even on my palette, the paint's drying very quickly. Probably faster on my palette than on the canvas. Okay, this one here is a little thick, but at the same time, I am a perfectionist. I'm always striving for that elusive sense of perfection. Okay, just like 3 more to go. There we go. Very good. Okay, let's just get this last little planet. And I'll step back and see where we're at here. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to step back, put the chair back here in the corner, and see more or less where we're at. Didn't miss anything. No, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm not sure how dry it is. Well, not quite dry, of course. So what can I do to help? Maybe bring the fan over. I'll move this camera up maybe a little bit. There we go. So I'll get it like that. And then I'll bring the fan, which I'll put on, bring this baby right over here. There. Get it out of the way so it doesn't blow in my microphone. I am going to step back still a little bit, take a look. Hi. And let's see what that does. So with this fan on full blast, it should really, let me just adjust this a little bit. There we go. Not going to tip over, is it? No. Okay. So, okay, looking good. So while these little planets, I mean, if we have electromagnetic waves, these have to be planets. Seems to make sense. Stay in the cosmos. So what am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to tackle the heart. So that's going to go rather quickly as well. I'm going to get this out of the way. So this is basically just going to be 2 colors. I'm going to have orange here, red here, and the ring around that is going to be gold. So I'm going to start off with the orange and the red, and then we'll see. So get this together. Where's my little knife? Here it is. Woohoo! I love it. I'm just so happy to be able to have these cameras working like the way they should. That's terrific. Just going to make everything so much nicer for everybody, not just me, but for you as well. There we go. I see the amount of evaporation of the water just overnight. It's amazing. And it is like in the 90s, so I'm not surprised. But still. So, what paintbrush? My biggest dilemma always, what paintbrush I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to use this one. Yes, I think this looks like the right paintbrush. Kind of a very soft, medium size, but when you press down on it, it gets pretty wide. So this should do the trick. Bring the camera over here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit towards the heart because I am going to record. And I usually record with this camera, my #1 camera, for the simple reason that since I'm right-handed, I don't want my hand to be in front of the picture. So like usual, I'm going to bring the camera down so we can just see what I'm doing here. There you go. Just mixing. See my very high-class belt. Yes. It's not a Gucci, but I am going to have to add a little more water to this. Bring that back up. I'll work this paint a little more. I think this should do it. Okay, I'm going to go back towards the little heart with a little zoom. And I'm going to start recording. There we go. Okay, always want to step back to make sure I see what I'm doing exactly. Okay, start right here. And I wouldn't be surprised if I had to put 2 coats on, but it doesn't matter. There we go. Very nice. And I'm going to get the bottom part as well. There we go. Very nice. Yep. Yep. I mean, there's going to be black outline around everything, so it doesn't have to be too tight. Now that seems just right. Stop recording, pull the camera back. There we go. So, definitely helping a lot, drying fast. Very good. And before I put the red on, I want the orange to be completely dry. So I'm going to wait on that. And in the meantime, I am going to get the darker green ready for my outline. So that's going to take a few minutes. So again, let me show you how these acrylics, this is a nice thick acrylic, all dry on a cap. Then I just kind of grab a corner Just kind of pull on the medium that holds these pigments together. Well, acrylics, it's nothing else but plastic. So I just keep peeling away around, and it just lifts off, and there you have it. You can see the colors I used before. I have a brand new palette here. So I never did figure out what I could do with these things. So I just throw them away. And there we go. So brand new palette there. And I am going to get this dark green ready. So what am I going to use for the dark green? Maybe a little bit of this. Don't really need that much. Just going to make a very small outline on these. There you go. I want to cap that off with heat. And I wonder if I should mix in another green with this. I don't think so. So I am going to use that fat brush that I used on the orange just to get the right texture of the green. There we go. I'm going to do that like this. I am going to switch over to this guy here. So once again, we can look at what I'm doing, which isn't very complicated really. It's just mixing the color with the water just to get the right texture. I want to get the right consistency because this has to go down like in one shot. So if possible, that would be the ideal trip. And I think I'm going to need quite a bit more than that. So I'm going to just go back and add a little more green paint to this. There we go. And make a little more paint. There we go. If I have some excess, I can always put it back in the jar. So I might as well make the right amount that I'll need right away. There we go. And I am going to come over here and get a little swig of water here. Oop, and there we go. Ah, that tastes good. Yes, indeed. So let's get water back in here. Mix this to get the right consistency. Bring down this camera so everybody can share in to the mixing of the water and paint. And make that nice little creamy get it all together like that. Get the excess off. towards the middle. There we go. I guess I'm ready to go. Get the excess off on this bigger brush. This brush here is going to be way too big, so I'm going to switch brushes. There we go. And I'm going to use the one I used earlier to put down that first coat. So I'm going to turn this fan down a little bit so it doesn't blow in my face and in the microphone. And I'm going to zoom in on that upper left-hand corner. And actually, I'm going to zoom in even more so you can really see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to wait a second to record. Do a few of these little planets first, and then we'll see. Very nice, except for the fan that is like blowing my hair all over the place. There we go. Okay. So where are we at here? Okay. So this one here is just going to be like that part there. Very good. Very good, yes. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to zoom in on this bigger one, maybe on two of them so I can record and make sure. Oh, there we go. Start recording, and hopefully this will go down and look really good on camera. Am I in the way? No. Okay. I'm going to do the same for the one that's right next to it, right there. Not sure which one I'll use in the movie, but ooh, that one just went down the way I love it. There we go. Stop recording and I'll pull the camera back. Whoops. Let's get it together here, Dave. There we go. There we go. Put it like that. Maybe add a little bit of music. The distance between these planets should be such that I don't put my hand in the wet paint like I do so often. It's not my hand, it's my hair. Let me go back to over here. I must be in the way of the camera. I wouldn't be surprised. Yep. I'm starting to know when I'm screwing up now more and more. I'm going to bring this down. Not sure you can really see anything. I'll zoom in maybe just a little bit. Whoops. Okay. We'll go with that. Just the way I like it. Very good. Pull the camera back a little bit now. As we move along. Very good. Careful not to put my hand in the orange paint there. And I'll come back and work maybe down this way a little bit, just to be sure. Once again, if you don't mind, I am going to get my chair out here. There we go. I'll do this. Take a step back and see where I'm at. Oh, very nice. And it's amazing that this little highlight, which is so discreet, makes all the difference, really. Turns a little planet that's blah into something quite beautiful. But then again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And, whatever. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger. There we go. Very nice. Move over a little bit. Maybe I'll go back up here. I will move this camera back a little bit because I know myself I'll switch to this camera and it'll be zoomed into something that will make absolutely no sense. There we go. Let's get that ready for later. I can go above. I hate to say it, but I could do this for hours. When the paint just glides on like this so nicely, it is really a pleasure to put down this paint like this. And here I have the right brush, the right consistency of the paint, and just all my frustration from today is gone. Yep. Much better than a martini. Well, is that true? I'm not sure after all. Now that I think about it, though I don't drink martinis, but I do love a cocktail though in the evenings. My favorite cocktail is like a little bit of syrup of cassis and a little bit of vodka, a couple of ice cubes, fill up the glass with water. So good. So very good. So, I'll get back down here. I'm going to maybe take a look and see what camera I'm on here. I'm completely lost. I guess I'm on camera number 1. Oh boy, this is great. But anyways, thank God we're only friends here. There we go. Up. Voila. And just for my movie's sake, I am going to lower this, start recording, and I am going to record with the other camera as well, just so I can have some variations as I'm doing the editing for the movie when this painting will be finished. I don't need very much. I usually just put in like 3 to 5 seconds maybe worth of, depending of course what I'm doing. Maybe do 1 or 2 zooms to make the shots more interesting. And I've been doing that for quite a few years now, so I have that pretty much down pat. I know basically what works, what doesn't work. I've also learned to cut a lot of the crap out of these movies that used to last around 10, 12 minutes. A lot of my friends say they thought the movies were a little too long. So now I've learned to kind of cut them down and make them about 3 to 5 minutes long. It's not that obvious to take 2 weeks worth of work and cut it down into a few minutes. There. Okay, very good. I am going to step back and see where I'm at. Did I miss anything? No, it looks pretty good. All right. I'll rinse off this. And I am going to need 2 coats of orange, but I'll probably need 2 coats of red too. So I'm going to go and put down the red first, and then I'll put the 2nd coat of orange afterwards. Ooh, look at that. Where am I here? Oh, this camera here, okay. I'll just switch over to, voila, to this camera like that. I can show this incredibly beautiful red. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I am going to move this camera back a little bit so we have a better view of the whole thing. And so that is, and I'm going to stop recording with this camera. There we go. So let me just get the paint now together. Hoppa. Bring that up a little bit. There we go. Maybe I'll be able to get my son in here during the summer, become my cameraman. Get him away from his friggin' Xbox. Okay, gotta make sure I get all the brush nice and clean. There we go. And just like with the green, we are going to work this in such a way that we have that incredibly nice texture of the paint. There we go. Just stir and blend and push and tug, twirl. Get this nice color. Looks like obviously I'm going to have to put a little more water. Way too thick. So, I'll bring that back up. Get some water over here. There we go. Step into the sunlight. There we go. So this looks about right. Again, this should go on in just a few seconds. Let me bring the camera back up. I'm going to zoom that in a little bit. Very good. And I am going to zoom in with this camera as well. There we go. Oh, very good. Okay, I don't want to get too obsessive with these cameras either. It's great to have, it's there to simplify my life, not to make it more complicated, so I better not just overcomplicate it myself, you know, whatever. I'm sure you understood what I meant. Now all I have to do is work on my English, so it's not as rusty. It takes me a microsecond that I have to go into French and then translate it in English. Anyways, so let's go. There we go. I'm stopping like that because I do have to record. I'm sorry about that, but business before pleasure. I'm going to zoom in with this camera and I'm going to hit record. There we go. Very good. The transition part first. Et voila. Very good. Stop recording. And I'll pull the camera back. Oops. There we go. Until it dries and decide what we're going to do next. So let's first of all put the paints away and maybe wipe our hands off. There we go, little piggies. Look at all those little piggies living piggy lives. Yeah, okay, wash my hands afterwards. But I'm going to do a little job now so I don't get paint all over my laptop or my keyboard or whatever. So, that done, I am going to step back and take a look with you at what's going on. Okay, yes, looks pretty good, looks pretty good. Yeah, that orange looks pretty good as well. I'm gonna bring in Mr. Fan here. Get my microphone out of the way, and I'm gonna put it on full blast. There we go. Have a little swig of water. Very good. And where are we here? So I think that will be dry. I'm going to put a second coat before I stop my stream, a second coat of the orange. But as I'm waiting for the red to dry, why don't I show you here a little bit of my paintings, maybe. Let me see. There's a good sample. Just going to take a few minutes. This is a potpourri of my paintings. These are some of the posters I glued in the streets. Not this one, but so that painting and the one before was from the 80s. So is this one. So there you have it. There's a quick, just a little quick example of some of my paintings. I noticed that the orange paint was dry. The red isn't quite dry. Oof. I did wet my hair and my t-shirt before starting the stream because I figured with the fan it would cool me off, but it's already half dry and I don't feel the coolness anymore. But anyways, we're tough warriors, right? So no big deal. So anyways, I am going to, what am I going to do here? I'm going to think out loud for a second and yep, get the orange. Okay. All right, sorry. Did have to think this all through. Get the orange paint first. Which is almost completely dry from not even 20 minutes ago. Well, that's no big deal. There we go, clean off my knife. Make sure that I turned off the recording. Yes, I did. Very good. I always have doubts. Little scatterbrain here, not used to juggling with three things at the same time. But I'm not complaining. So the same as usual, get the paint ready, right texture. Get out of the way of the fan that's blowing the hair all over the place. There we go. Let me see how I come in full screen here with the webcam. This looks pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm going to turn down the fan. Move it out of the way. There we go. Like that I can switch webcams without any problem. There we go. Now I have to make sure I put that orange down without getting my hand in the red. So I should be able to do that. Let me just get out of the way here. There we go. And I'm going to start with this part here. I know a lot of these second coats, you can't tell from the camera that it needs it. But unfortunately, for those who are standing straight in front of these paintings, you notice that it does need a second coat. So, it does make the colors a lot more vibrant, which is something this psychedelic baby loves, is vibrant, electric colors. Voila, very nice. Just playing a little bit with the devil here and go in here a little bit. Yeah, a little bit here too. Oh, no, that's beautiful. Okay. Okay. Okay, we said stop, Pierre, stop. Oh, there. Very good. So, where are we at? And what are we going to do next? That is the great question. I think by tomorrow, all these planets will be 100% dry. Doesn't look like it will need a second coat, thank God, so everything going the right way. And then I think tomorrow what we're going to do is add more plants. I know I'd like some sort of a fern over here, leaves flowing, something like that. Well, that's usually the kind of thing we just improvise as we show up in the morning, so we'll leave that till tomorrow. And then eventually when all this is done, we're going to have to do the outlines for everything, tidy up the whole, finish up the guy, tidy up the whole painting, and then work on the frame. So we got another good 10 days worth of work there, more or less, I would think. Well, very good. Well, once again, I want to thank you for joining me. Like usual, I'm going to kind of leave you with my schedule. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tonight we have another Arsenal soccer game. Woo. It's going to be a tough game tonight. Anyways, won four games in a row. Hopefully we can make it 5. We'll see. And I will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So as I said, I'm going to leave you with my schedule. I'm going to thank you again for joining me. And I'll say see you tomorrow. Ciao, mes amis.